Hey, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Okay, I'm never going to do that again, right? So today I want to talk about jobs versus careers. Okay, so my favorite comedian of all time is Chris Rock, right? He came to London back in 2007 or 2008, I can't remember. And I saw him at the Hammersmith Apollo. He also did some shows at the O2 Arena, and of course, he's been around for ages, and everybody knows who Chris Rock is, right? So he did back then he did a part of his set was about jobs versus career, and I went on did a search on YouTube and I found a clip of it. I'll put it in the comments. It's very funny if you haven't seen it. But one of the things he talks about is the difference between a career and a job. So a career is where there aren't enough hours in the day, and a job is like there's just too much time. It's you just pounding out the clock and all this kind of stuff. And I was watching this morning, and it got me thinking about all the times that I've worked for contracts for other people. So if you work a contract for a large place, like a large company, like me with investment banks or publishers or whatever, you see people working very long hours, but a lot of times it's for show, or who knows what other reason. That's not fair. It's not fair to say it's always for show, but a lot of times it is. You see people working till 8 or 9 at night. And when I worked at investment bank, my first one, I was working till 10, 11 o'clock at night, all the time. And that was having a 2-hour commute home. It was just, getting started. But after a while, I think I just became disillusioned and I didn't work those kind of hours anymore. And you see people and they're just working these crazy hours. You say, why are you still here? And oh man, I got so much work to do, right? And you're working on a Gantt chart. I mean, how important is it? Oh no, it's important, right? So that's one thing. But then there's other times where I work for small companies, right? Where you actually working directly with the owner, or very, very close to the owner, right? And the owner, they will work crazy hours and for real. They're just they come in and they're just they'll get up early, come in and work on their company and stay late. And sometimes it make you feel guilty for the fact that you leave early. Like when I'm a contractor, I would come in and I was I'll be on my day rate. So I'd be on a day rate as opposed to an hourly rate. So if I worked 8 hours, then that was fine. If I worked 12 hours, then my hourly rate was actually lower. So you work for somebody who owns the company, and they have a different mentality to somebody who's just they don't own the company. So they will work. I've worked with people company owners who would literally stay in the office building all night long, and you come in, they're wearing the same clothes, and they've just been still coding away and just dedicated and everything like that. Now last week I talked about how I come in or a few weeks ago I talked about how I come in at 4 o'clock in the morning and everything like that. And it may have sounded like it's a really bad life, but it is that kind of, when you do something on your own, you have a lot more drive than if you're doing something for somebody else. I could tell you, when I'm working a contract, I'm waiting for the end of the day, or that's not entirely true. Sometimes you're on something that's really intellectually stimulating and you're really into the code, but other times you're just man, I gotta go home. And I know you guys want to have all these meetings now, but it's 7 o'clock and meeting time's over and everything like that. And I've worked for people who they just, they want to have a 6 p.m. meeting or 7 p.m. meeting or whatever, right? Because they're the owners of the company, and for them it's, it's live or die, and for me it's, it's a contract or it's a job, right? So, and this is one of the things, I want you to think about if you hire people or if you work for other people, is that there's different mentalities there, right? So I remember working for a company, a small company that they hit it big. They were bought out by another company. So the owners of the company I think they just became rich overnight, right? And I was, and it was a small company, so I was one of the few people there. And I can remember thinking, I'd never gotten a raise at this company, right? It was just I was there for a few years, and then when they struck it big, I was just nothing, right? And I kind of felt we've all been in this together and everything like that, but that wasn't the case, right? Because they were assuming a lot of risk, and I was assuming no risk, right? Taking on a job. This is, the risk and the rewards. We are rewarded for the risks that we take. For those of you who say, how will I know if this app is going to work, or I don't want to take this kind of risk because I don't know if it'll work out. If you don't take any risks, you don't get any reward at all. And there's pluses and minuses in this, right? So like, you know, like if you're working for somebody, let's say somebody's a company owner and they hire you as a developer and you're working with them and they're just like, you know, they've mortgaged their house and they've just, you know, they're investing everything in it and they're just really trying to, you know, they're working crazy hours and everything like that, and they're, you know, they're putting everything into this because if it doesn't work out, then they've lost everything. And let's say the company gets bought by Google, right? That company owner who risked everything, they get all the rewards of that, and you had a job and you may continue to have a job, but that's all it is, right? But on the opposite side, let's say that they didn't get bought by Google or whatever, and then everything went bust, and they're just sitting there saying, "Oh my God, my life is in ruins. I'm bankrupt. You know, my wife has left me. My whole life has turned to tatters." And then they look to you, and you're like, "Ooh, it's getting late. I got to get going. I got to go update my CV. I'll talk to you later," right? So there's pluses and minuses, right? And this is one of the things that I kind of just want to talk about this, you know, just a little bit today. It's the kind of thing that, you know, we are rewarded for the risks that we take. Every time I've advanced in my life is because I've taken a risk bigger than I was ready to do, but I just sort of forced myself to jump into it, whether it's leaving a job or, you know, starting a new venture or a new business or hiring somebody new. All those kind of things, you know, I fear them because I think, you know, this is risky, and the reason I haven't made it further in my life is because I haven't taken bigger risks. But it's also one of the reasons why that things are going pretty well is because I take measured risks, but sometimes they're a little bit too measured. So anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Check out that Chris Rock video. It's really, really good. Right, and that's it. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.